A little louder in my headphones, please. Well, all right. Welcome to Rainier Avenue Radio World. It's 9:00 in the morning. We are on the air. Best Starts for Kids Summit 2023 is taking place. We had our preview day on Monday. Then we kicked things off yesterday. Had a wonderful opportunity to talk to a couple of youth who are doing some phenomenal things. Got a great show planned today. Now, initially, I thought it was just Yolanda McGhee, but it looks like she brought some friends. We are going to be talking about the Liberated Village. Here's kind of a one paragraph. The liberation and healing from systemic racism will commit to take an individual and collective approach to healing and will implement a community-centered educational environment that seeks to educate, elevate, and liberate Black and Brown scholars and families in King County. What does that mean? Well, we're going to find out. Welcome, everyone. It's time to wake up. Get your day started. Get ready for a full calendar of events for Best Starts for Kids. I'm Tony B. We are right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. So first of all, is Yolanda? I don't see Yolanda, but I'm going to ask Yolanda to join me. Is Yolanda there?
Join.
Yolanda, are you there?
I am. You can't see me?
No, it's your screen is just black.
There I am.
So there we go.
Come on. Yeah.
Good morning, Yolanda. How are you?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for asking and having me this morning.
All right, and great to see you.
Yes, sir.
You brought a couple folks with you.
I did.
I'm going to bring them on shortly.
Okay.
But first, I want to talk to you for a second.
All right.
Before we get into the Liberated Village, Yolanda, am I saying your last name correctly? Is it McGhee?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Let's find out a little bit about you, where you from, and your role in Best Starts for Kids.
Yes. So again, yes, like you said, my name is Yolanda McGhee, and I am actually born and raised in Seattle, Washington.
All right.
So
What part of Seattle?
Yes, South Seattle.
What?
Yes, I don't know. We don't know each other like that, but I see you definitely in the community. So, you definitely in the neighborhood. But yeah, I live right around the corner from Franklin High School. Actually grew up in this neighborhood. Graduated actually from Franklin High School.
I went to Franklin too.
Really? I'm
Yeah.
83. I'm 83.
So, well, got a couple years on you.
Okay.
78.
Okay.
But still.
Right. We both Quakers in the house.
Yes. Yeah. And you know what? I've talked to a couple folks who grew up in South. Well, more than a couple who will join me. Both of the folks who were with me yesterday, Jordan. And what was his name? Do you remember? Daniel? Jordan and Roger. They grew up, and one of them went to Franklin. Anyway,
yeah. So anyhow, like I said, I'm a
special shout out to folks who are from South Seattle.
Yes,
so,
Seattle Light.
Yeah.
And really now I'm working at the county, a lot of, I'm a product of Seattle Public Schools. So that's really where my why come from as far as how I show up in community because of my own experience that I had in the educational institution, Yeah. And I also worked with Seattle School District for over 20 years. I was that liaison between home and school, a family support worker, where I was there to help support the scholars in the school, the teachers, as well as engage with the families and bring them to be a part of the team. And so I did that work for over 20 years. And now here I am at the county as a program manager. I'm managing a body of work. And as you said, it's called Liberation and Healing from Systemic Racism. It's one of the many strategies in Best Starts for Kids for the 5 to 24 body of work that we're doing there. So, yeah, I'm a program manager. I was blessed enough to get this job to be able to speak and live my lived experience into the work that I'm doing.
Well, awesome. And you know the other name was Jordan, and it was Greg, who was
Great.
here with me yesterday
Okay.
from Reconnect to Opportunity. Yeah,
Yes.
yes, it was
Yes.
great
Yes.
talking to
Yes.
them. And so Yolanda, it sounds like again, this is. Have you always known this is what you wanted to do? This is how you wanted to impact. It sounds that way from you telling me about from growing up and then and immediately getting into some of the work that you were doing. Is this just been a natural path that you've always followed?
It's been a path that I had no idea the destination where it was gonna lead me. Where it was gonna lead me, but it's actually, everything I would say has worked together for my good for me to
Mhm.
be able to show up the way I am today, at doing this work. And so,
Okay.
yeah, everything has played into this where we are today.
All right.
Absolutely. I think
Well.
it's really a calling. It's really bigger than me. It's a vision that God has. They call me the visionarian as well, but it's
Mhm.
really a vision that God has put and birthed inside of me, and I'm just blessed enough to be able to do this with community in the county, to do the work that we're going to talk about today.
Well, good to meet you and,
Yes,
and introduce you to other folks in our community. I'm going to bring on the folks who you brought with you. First of all,
yes.
this is Devin Stubblefield. Devin, how you doing, bruh?
Yes, sir. Tony B, man. It's good to see you again. Yes, sir. And I'm also a Franklin Quaker. So
That's what I'm
Yes.
talking about.
83
yeah,
too, right?
83.
83?
That's right.
83.
83.
South
Yeah.
Seattle represent. Now, Rainier Avenue Radio, of course, we represent everywhere, but we do. It's Rainier Avenue Radio, so we show some love to those who, grew up and know what I'm talking about when I say Rainier Avenue. Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. That's right.
I'm also going to bring on Mrs. Anna Graham as well. Anna, how are you doing?
Hi, I'm doing great. Enjoying this morning. How are you?
Now, if you tell me you went to Franklin too, I'm gonna fall out my chair. If you
Oh
tell-
no, no, no. I wish I went to Cleveland and Renton.
Okay, yeah, but well, still both South End.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, same thing. Before we start talking about the Liberated Village, Devin, I know, I know you, but share some of your personal background with our listeners and some folks watching this morning too on our visual channels, Facebook and YouTube, and but a lot of folks listening. So just share some of your background with you.
Yes, sir. Well, first of all, born and raised here in Seattle, a native and just been loving it the whole time.
Hmm.
And I grew up around the community and I wanted to do something to help impact us from an economic standpoint. And so initially, while at Franklin, right after high school, I was interested in banking, started out working at C First Bank, and my career just went from there. And
Hmm.
then ultimately, I got into financial literacy, financial empowerment, and now within the last, this is our second year with Best Start for Kids. My organization, Faith Finance Center, now delivers financial empowerment training for our scholars that are in King County, our Black and Brown scholars. And this is something that I wish that we had when we were coming up. We
Hmm.
had to learn about finances, from our friends and family, whoever would spend time with us to get it, but nothing formal. But so now, my career is at to the point where I want to make sure that I empower young people and also empower other young people who want to teach other young people about financial empowerment. So that's kind of how it is in a nutshell. And I'm just glad to be a part of the Liberated Village and meeting all the parents and the scholars that we work with. And it's just an amazing experience.
Well, before I go on to Mrs. Anna Devon, we have a campaign among a number of campaigns that we have, but it's about generational wealth.
Mm.
And I would just like to get your thought really quickly, your feedback. So when I say generational wealth, what does that mean to you? And what would you like to share when somebody hears those two words together, generational wealth?
And that is a phrase that I think all of us have to ponder. and really understand what it means. One question that I always ask people is that how many, like in my workshops and even with the kids, we talk about with their parents, how many of them have assets passed down from a prior generation? So you know that most of us, when we become adults, we have to start with a job and then start buying assets or buying a home or accumulating things. But what would it be like if, to your point, generational wealth, if there were assets that were already in the family that were actually inherited by the next generations coming up, so we wouldn't have to start at zero. And that's been a thing of mine, and I wish we could change that, because I know that given all the information and access to the proper things, I know that more of our African American families would have assets that they could accumulate and eventually pass down to the future generations. And so to me, it means having an asset and keeping the asset in the family for the long term.
Well, I appreciate that, and I know you know that I wasn't taking this off course. That is something. Basically, wealth passed from generation to generation. Now, there are lots of reasons why that hasn't happened in the Black community, but I think, Devin, you'd agree that it is something that we have to start thinking about.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that was a little sidebar, but you seem like the perfect person to for me to take advantage of that opportunity to share one of the campaigns that we are working on here and creating awareness to generational wealth. Mrs. Anna,
Yes.
okay, you're up next. I'm gonna get in your Kool-Aid a little bit, find out a little bit more about who you are, what you do, share some background with us about yourself. We know you went to Cleveland and Renton, so shout out to Cleveland and Renton. Yeah, tell us a little bit more about your background.
So, I grew up in the areas, and personally, I actually grew up in foster care. Um, I became a cosmetologist, and I'm a mother of six. Um, I really have a passion for what we're doing because it affected me when I was younger, the things that I went through without any support. And so, I guess my role, I'm a parent partner of Liberated Village, and I absolutely love the body of work that we do. It's so different when you're a parent on the sideline and just needing help, and your kids are going through different things that you don't know what avenues that you can take. Um, like I said, I grew up in foster care, so the support was non-existent. So it was very important to me when I became a parent to be very involved with everything that my kids do. I guess I'm a kind of a helicopter mom,
Hmm.
but the way that the world works, I'm big on entrepreneurship. Like I said, I'm a cosmetologist, and I also make wigs. And so we preach entrepreneurship to our children because we want them to be able to stand on their own and be able to make things that they can pass down to their children. So it was like a no brainer when my children were going through different things at school and we didn't have any support and different things like that. When the programs were brought to us and were there to help support us, um, it was something that I hadn't really heard of because there were plenty of programs out there that say they do the work, but they don't do the work. And so when we were given the opportunity to be part of the village and come in and be a partner of it, it is absolutely amazing. All the different programs that are offered, and especially the entrepreneurship program,
Hmm.
because it's teaching the kids how to not only like they're giving the information to be in charge of their own future, to use it any way that they can, but they're also giving the backing to like, push past their insecurities, push past their pauses that may stop them, and really think outside the box and really put their own stamp on this world. And I absolutely love it. I love what we do. Like when we're in these different meetings and we're making these different decisions, to be able to be a part of that and see that it's not just talk, to see the different things come into life and action has been absolutely amazing, and I love it.
Mrs. Anna, I think you, if you don't know by now, you know. When I listen to folks share their stories, um, sometimes questions come up,
Hmm.
and I call it getting in your Kool-Aid a little bit. So don't. But you mentioned before we go on, because now you got me really excited about hearing the Liberated Village, but also your personal story as well. You mentioned that you were in foster care.
Yes, sir.
Familiar with foster care. So for you, and I know you'll know what this term means. What was that transition for you like when you aged out, or
Mm.
if you want to share a
It,
little bit about what I'm talking about for folks who may not know
yes.
and how that was for you,
So
because that is
now,
definitely a situation where a village could. Anyway, talk
Yeah.
from your personal experience.
yeah. So when I aged out, actually, as we all know, sometimes the state plays a dirty game. And so I spend majority of my life actually in foster care. And when you age out, you are actually supposed to get a lump sum of money and some help to guide you to the next step. Um, but when you're in foster care and you're the child going through it, they actually don't share that information with you. So a
Mhm.
lot of us is just left on our own. And actually, before I hit 18, um, the state actually did a dirty game and gave custody of me to my abusive mother's um, husband at the time, so that they could avoid having to pay for me. So they took her rights to be able to take me away. And so that they didn't have to support or pay me, they gave rights back to her husband to go around the loop. And so I
Mm.
was kind of just left on my own to kind of figure it out. And I was lucky enough to have an amazing family, the Butlers, take me in and kind of guide me through high school. Um, and after that, I kind of just, I was working 3 jobs while going to high school. So as soon
Wow.
as I graduated, I moved out on my own and kind of, took the long road to get to where I am. Worked different jobs and different things like that, but I'd always done hair since I was like 7. Couldn't stand to get my hair done. And so they told me the day you could do your own hair is the day I don't have to. And I tell you, in a week, I was
Mhm.
braiding my hair back. And so throughout school, I was doing everyone's hair, making money, working at a daycare and working at Family Fun Center when it first opened. And
Mm.
so I just worked for my own self. After a while, I just felt like I got trapped in the work, just trying to make it and wasn't able to live the dream that I wanted to. So I actually didn't go back to school until 30.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I went back to school about 30 years old to get my cosmetology license because I wanted to do more than just braid. And that's been part of my passion too, is to help other kids that are struggling or going through some things and don't know, like, get that information out there. I mean, I'm probably, when anybody talks to me, they know that they call me information, because I am
Okay.
definitely going to pass any information that I know
Mm.
out to any kid, anything that they're going through that I feel can help, whether it's the program that we're under or something else that I know. But I hope other foster kids that are, in the same position that I was, that you're getting ready to age out, remember that they owe you some money, and that you can go to any college that you want and they're supposed to pay for it. But they don't let us know that. So hopefully that information will help some other kids that are going through that same thing.
Well, Anna, thanks for sharing your story, and congratulations to you for your success thus far on your journey.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, I think the context that we provide when we uh, allow each of you to share your stories, it only makes what we're talking about here even more relevant. The Liberated Village.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And so, what does that mean? And I want each of you to comment on this. But the Liberated Village, if you're just hearing about this for the first time, it may conjure up a number of different things. that the Liberated Village is. It might be something, if you're thinking about it, that is more of a vision or a thought. Is the Liberated Village a brick and mortar building? Is it an entire community? Is it what is the Liberated Village? I guess Yolanda will start
Yes.
with you and the role that the Liberated Village plays with Best Starts for Kids.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I'm glad you said that. All of these introductions really paint the vision and the picture of what the Liberated Village is. So all of this conversation is about what we're about. So what the Liberated Village is what we've done is we write RFPs so organizations can apply to do work with community.
Okay,
That's what Best Start. I'm
I
sure.
got to stop you for a second because that alphabet soup of, and I know y'all get used to that jargon, but
Okay.
RFPs and
Okay.
all.
So, so what happens is the program managers like myself, where we start off by writing a request for proposal.
Request for
So
proposals.
yes. And so basically it's like, if you will, the application for organizations to be able to read it, see if it resonate with them, something that they provide, and then they're able to apply for that body of work and that money to do the work that they want to do within the community. So I hope you learned that this week, because that's what the Best Starts for Kids is all about. It's about getting money into the community, into the hands of those organizations that represent the community, that knows what the community need, and are able to provide those program services to the community
And
to help them be happy, healthy, and thrive.
That would be the village. Is that the village?
That's the Best Starts for Kids. So
Okay.
I am a part of course, the Best Starts for Kids. So the village vision was that when we wrote our RFP, we wanted to make sure that the community, and we centered it around the Black and Brown community. We wanted to make sure that that grassroots community-based organizations was able to see themselves in this body of work, so that they can come to the table and be able to apply to do it. So what we've done is, I don't know if you remember talking to me in 1.0, but our name started off being trauma informed.
Okay.
And now we've went from trauma to liberation, because we're working with the community, and it's more speaking towards the strength way we like to talk about, our experiences. And so we want to go beyond the trauma to liberation. And so that was a part of the community, the organizations, the parents, and the scholars that helped us even transition to change the name to Liberation and Healing from Systemic Racism, aka Liberated Village. Now, how do we become a village? How do we become a village? We become a village by organizations opting in, not just to do individual work, because a lot of these organizations, they're funded, they go and do the work. But we were intentional about saying that we're going to opt in to doing collective work, that we want to build together, co-design and build a culturally responsive transitional education system. Because we talked about it today, how the educational system, it was set up to do what it's doing, and it's failing our Black and Brown scholars, not because of their brilliance or because of anything that has to do with them, but because of how the system was set up. So what we're doing is we're creating an educational system that works and it's transformational, and it's creating liberation for Black and Brown scholars in King County.
Let say that a culturally responsive. Say that one more again.
Yes, we're co-designing and building. So these 15 organizations that we funded 3-year contracts, they apply, they're in the village. They're offering educational experiences we call them scholars, to students, their parents, and we're collectively working together. We have a shared vision. So these 15 organizations, we have a shared vision. We have the parent leadership group. That's why we have Miss Anna here today representing the parents. We have a scholar leadership group. So we're literally all coming together. The scholars, the parents, the organizations, we're collectively working together to build a movement. And I'll say it again, it's culturally responsive transformational education system, an educational system that works. for Black and Brown scholars.
Okay, I'm trying to remember that. Culturally responsive, transformational.
Yes, educational system.
Education system.
Yes, and so what we have in the village, like Brother Devin said, we have economic education, civics education, well-being, outdoors, the arts. We got Dr. Sullivan. She's educating parents and scholars, and our Liberated Village partners, providing certifications for them to understand how to teach and bring out the brilliance of Black and Brown scholars. Yeah, so that's all within the village. We also have another program that's teaching filming and how to write short stories. And so that's what's in the village. We're about education. We're remixing education.
And this was a vision of best starts for kids.
This was a vision from Yolanda. Like I said, everything I've been. So the thing, what happens is, best starts for kids, they give us the fortitude to be able to talk with community, bring our lived experience in, ask the community what we need. And so I went out and because, like I said, my lived experience, because of my being a grassroots organizer, because of all the work I've been doing, went out to the community and asked them, what do they want, what do they see, and so this is community speaking into this work as well. Not just myself, but I was given the latitude to be able to create that RFP I talked about. So again, so that the community, because and Black and Brown organizations, grassroots organizations, and we also brought LLCs in as well to be able to be at the table, to take money off the table to do the work. So collectively, we're working together to build a transformative educational system that works for Black and Brown scholars.
One of the things that I love about this is the opportunity to hear directly from folks who are doing things and impacting in our communities. Devin, tell me, the Liberated Village, what does that mean to you? What has the impact been? Why are you part of it?
Yeah, it is something that, to me, it galvanizes the work that we all do individually. As Miss Yolanda mentioned, all the different various organizations that make up the village, and each of the things that we are actually teaching the scholars. What's interesting about the village is that we are all working for a common goal. And that common goal is to help our Black and Brown scholars to have choices. We call it, and this is a phrase coined by Miss Yolanda, school without walls.
Yes.
So we're doing things like outside of the normal school hours. We're doing things in the evenings, on the weekends, and we're making it as convenient as possible so that we can get maximum participation from the scholars and the parents. And so imagine that now we've got this group of all of us going together to a certain goal. And the things that we're accomplishing are life skills that can never, ever, ever be taken away from these scholars, because they're getting it firsthand. And so to me, this village, it takes all of us to make this happen. And that's what the village is doing.
Yeah.
I'm feeling your excitement, and same thing, Mrs. Anna. The Liberated Village, what does that mean to you? How do you engage as part of the Liberated Village?
So Liberated Village to me is action. So you be a part of a lot of things that say they do, but they actually do. We can sit back, we can complain about how the system is holding us back. We can complain about a lot of things, but we come together, we get educated, and we make steps on how we can make things better. Being in this environment is enriching. You learn so much about yourself. You learn so much about other cultures. You learn so much about what makes things kind of happen, right? When we have our different meetings and different things, we talk about different problems and we come up with solutions. Past the solutions, we don't just come up with the solutions. We make steps and we walk into those solutions. Every program underneath that umbrella works well together. Everybody has the same goal, but you might have a different way that you're getting there. And I love that there are so many different options for us to participate, whether you can only do a little or a lot. All I know is we have to be a part of the solution. You can't just sit on the sidelines and expect change. And being part of this village is allowing me to be a part of the change. It's allowing me to have effect on my community and be there.
Good.
One of the greatest things that I very much enjoy doing is learning. Like, you have to unlearn what you've learned and relearn.
Say
That's
it.
one of the things that
Come
we
on.
do, and it's powerful.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so powerful.
You know, I'm sorry to interrupt you, because I've enjoyed this conversation so much, and we're actually out of time.
Yeah.
But and so Jamelia and Jessica are up, but I still, if you could just really quickly, and I'm going to start with you, Anna, just take about 20 seconds and just final words from you and thoughts on this program, what you do in the Liberated Village. I got to hear from each of you, and I'll start with you. And I know we're intruding now on Jamelia and Jessica's time, but I really enjoyed hearing about this program and your personal stories, and that's what the Liberated Village, and I think Yolanda, you echoed is all about. But Mrs. Anna, about 30 seconds. Tell me your final thoughts that you'd like to share with the audience.
I would say go on liberatedvillage.com, go there, find a program that fits for your kids, be part of the solution, not part of the problem. It is an amazing environment, welcoming to all. There's no judgment. We all work together. Come as you are. That's what I have to say.
All right. And Devin, same thing. I got to get you in here too. I got to give everybody to have final words that you'd like to say to our audience.
The final word is the concept of the village being a network, that we actually make the net work for everybody involved.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well said. And Yolanda, congratulations on an incredible vision of something that is now being brought to fruition.
Yes.
Final words from you as well.
Yes, I would like to say I read a poem, a quote this morning, and it really encompasses the vision of the village, and also how I show up in the village. It says, "Coach me, and I will learn. Challenge me, and I will grow. Believe in me, and I will win." And so we're in it together, and we're winning together.
All right. Well, I want everybody to go ahead now, and you can tune in to Jamelia and Jessica, and they'll be giving you the 411. Do people even say 411 anymore? I know y'all know what I'm talking about. They'll be giving you information on what's taking place today, as far as the conference goes, and workshops and information. So definitely click over and tune into Jamelia and also Jessica. Thank all three of you, Mrs. Anna, Devin, Yolanda, for joining me. I know that we're out of time here, so I'll just say very quickly, again, look forward to seeing everyone tomorrow, where we'll be talking about the Youth Bill of Rights. It's me, Tony B, and remember, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you cannot, you are probably right. I'm
That's
out.
right.
Peace.
All right. Thank you.